If you could teach Zlatan, every child in the world, one lesson, what lesson would it be?
Discipline.
Nice.
I believe in discipline. Discipline will keep you alive, will bring you to wherever you want to come. It's the most strongest, but it's the most difficult.
There's a quote that says, "What if laziness is nothing but the habit of thinking about the cost of things and not the payoff?" I'm gonna say it again. What if laziness is nothing but a habit of thinking of the cost of things and not the payoff? We're so hyper fixated on the pain that we're experiencing now that we don't even think about what's on the other end of it. If you can train your mind to start focusing on the payoffs, you will be able to endure more.
Greatness is falling, getting up, falling, getting up, falling, getting up. Greatness is Michael Jordan being cut his junior in high school, saying he's not good enough. Greatness is Muhammad Ali losing and then coming back and regaining the title. Greatness is a bunch of pain that forces you to come out of your comfort zone. And that's why when you think about the mentality of greatness, there are no breaks. I hate to tell people that, right? Because today's time, everybody wants it fast. But to be great, Monday on top of Tuesday, Tuesday on top of Wednesday, Wednesday on top of Thursday, Thursday on top of Friday, Friday on top of Saturday, Saturday, Sunday. And start over, and start over, and start over, and start over. And true greatness is always evolving. True greatness is always evolving. It never stays the same. Your comfort zone will stay the same.
The Facebook post that Kobe put after he ruptured his Achilles. I'm gonna read this, it's so fucking good.
Yep.
This is such BS. All the training and sacrifice just flew out of the window with one step that I've done millions of times. The frustration is unbearable, the anger is rage. Why the hell did this happen? Makes no damn sense. Now I'm supposed to come back from this and be the same player or better at 35? How in the world am I supposed to do that? I have no clue. Do I have the consistent will to overcome this thing? Maybe I should break out of this rocking chair and reminisce on the career that was. Maybe this is how my book ends. Maybe Father Time has defeated me. Then again, maybe not. It's 3:30 a.m. My foot feels like a dead weight. My head is spinning from the pain meds and I'm wide awake. Forgive my venting, but what's the purpose of social media if I won't bring this to you? No real image. Feels good to vent, let it out, to feel as if this was the worst thing ever. Because after all the venting, the real perspective sets in. There are far greater issues and challenges in the world than a torn Achilles. Stop feeling sorry for yourself, find the silver lining and get to work with the same belief, same drive and same conviction as ever. One day, the beginning of a new career journey will commence. Today is not that day. If you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. That's Mamba mentality. We don't quit, we don't cower, we don't run, we endure and conquer.
Listen to me, this comeback has to be personal. This comeback has to mean everything to you. Lock in your training, dial in your diet. Do not get distracted. Nobody else needs to know, nobody else needs to see. This comeback is not about getting to a place that you've already been. This comeback is about going to a place you've never been before. Not for the likes, not to get her back, not to prove anyone wrong, for the man that deserves better. I want you to give it everything you've got. I want you to find your potential and never look back.
But most people, we don't want to be pushed. I would say most people don't want to be pushed that hard. They want to be pushed to their level of comfort. And once they're outside their comfort zone, they're like, oh, I'm not used to this. Oh, I don't like this. My heart's beating too fast. Or, man, I'm feeling different feelings and emotions. And it's like, that's where the growth lives. You need coaches that push you outside your comfort zone because that's how you grow and that's how you begin to develop self-confidence and self-esteem in what you're doing. You try, you fail. They push you to deal with the failure. You get another chance to go out and practice it. Then you succeed and you realize, oh, that's what I need to do differently the next time.
The old version of you must die for the new version of you to reemerge. If you want to truly be reborn, if you want to truly become the person that you've always wanted to be, That other person, the old version of you, the current version of you who denies things or isn't disciplined or doesn't like working hard or doesn't go after what they want, you must kill that person. You must wake up every day and do the exact opposite of what that person would do. Oh, I don't want to work today. Get to work. Oh, I don't want to be disciplined today. I'm going to be disciplined even if I don't feel like it. Oh, I don't want to go after my goals or because I'm afraid of embarrassment. Who cares about embarrassment? I want to achieve this. This is more important than what other people think about me. Those types of people who are willing to kill their old version of themselves will become the new version of themselves. And you can do it too. You just have to make the self-conscious decision every single day to do the exact opposite of what the comfortable version of you would do so you can live the version of you that you've always wanted to be.
Say to yourself over and over again, I am unstoppable. I am unstoppable. I can do anything I put my mind to. And wonderfully enough, you do become what you think about most of the time. You also become what you say to yourself most of the time.
You're out there on your own. You need to grow up. You need to start assuming responsibility for your life. And then if you don't have a lot of champions for you, then you better become a champion for yourself, and you better try to develop confidence within yourself.
Someone with the same goal is working twice as hard as you while you sit here and question if you really wanted to go after this. You sit here and question, should I even try? While you're doing that, there is someone right now who's not even guessing, not hesitating, not waiting for anyone to tell them to do it. They're just going after it every single day, 2 times as hard. Just remember that. Remember that while you're not working, someone else is. And if you're put in your hours, they'll pass you.
And then I realized it's all about myself. If I will make it, it's up to me. I will have to find my own way. So there was no way that somebody told me, go right or go left. Sometimes I went right, sometimes I went left. And from left, I went right. And so I find my own way. And I did a lot of mistakes. I did a lot of crazy things, a lot of stupid things. But in the end, I found my path. I became stronger. I became very strong and even stronger. And from there was no stopping me. Then I went through every wall.
Every day I wake up, I say to myself, you have 2 options right now. Keep dreaming with your dreams or wake up and make it reality. I chose the second option always.
But it's that 1% that we sleep on. That's why it's so easy to be great nowadays, because most motherfuckers are weak. It's a blessing for people to doubt you. It's a blessing for people not to believe in you. It's a blessing for people to disrespect you if you know how to use it as fuel.
It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to what happens to you that counts. In the final analysis, your response to the adversity of life is the real measure of who you are and what you're made of.
Pretty soon you'll if you have the courage and the heart and the dedication and the mindset, everybody can go themselves. I know what I know. I've listened to myself enough to know. I know what I know. None of you can hear what I'm hearing.
In order for something new to come, something old must go. And that old can sometimes mean let go of what you know until now. Empty the cup and start from the beginning.
If you're planning on being successful, you have to change this here. The difference between successful people and non-successful people is right here. It ain't no difference. It ain't none. I ain't got no more than none of y'all got.
When you persist, your self-esteem goes up. Each time you force yourself to stay in there, your self-esteem goes up. You like yourself more. You respect yourself better, feel more confident, you feel better about yourself. And in fact, in the ultimate end, you don't even mind losing because you're persistent. And here's the second thing, is persistence is self-discipline in action.
There's been many days where I didn't want to work out. I just didn't feel like I had the energy, and I just forced myself. And I think there's very few people out there that know how to force themselves.
The key to winning, the key to development, the key to progress is intentionally putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Intentionally putting yourself in uncomfortable and difficult situations. Just work. And if you don't get what you thought you were gonna get, show up and still go to work. Because along the process, what's more important, what you acquire or who you become? And a lot of people think what they acquire is the thing that makes them who they are. No, it's who you become in the process of chasing what you want to acquire.
Every time you wanted to quit, every time life tried to break you, you chose to stand tall. That's what makes you great. It's about the grind, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the prayers you whispered when nobody was watching. It's all about those moments when you could have folded, but you didn't. You see, the underdog story is the realest story there is. Because when you come from nothing, you appreciate everything. You hustle different, you love different, and you lead different.
I really think the biggest cheat code in life is just going after it and not being concerned of whether or not you fail at one specific task. Instead, understanding the big picture, what your long-term goal is, and knowing if you keep driving forward and never quit, in the end you will succeed.
You've got to pay a price to be the best. The best pay a big price. You've got to work harder, you've got to commit more. You've got to take more responsibility. You've got to deal with more ups and downs. And if we can deal with that question, how much are you wanting to suffer?
No one's gonna save you. No one's gonna come out of the woods and say, hey, I got your back, man. I want to take you from all this.
What do you want? Because a lot of people are unclear what they want from life. They don't sit down and think through. We are writing our own life story every day, and yet we don't think about it. Who do we want to be? Where do we want to live? What life do we want to lead? When we've finished our life, come to the end of our life and look back, what do we want to say that we've done? So, what do you want is a very powerful question. How badly do you want it?
People won't want to hear this, but what you avoid controls you. If you avoid tough conversations, your relationships suffer. If you avoid risk, your business will suffer. If you avoid failure, your growth will suffer. If you think having uncomfortable conversations is hard, wait until you see the result of not having uncomfortable conversations. Much harder. At least for me, I just try and face the thing that I'm avoiding and constantly ask myself, like, what is that thing that I'm trying not to look at? And then force myself to stare at it, because usually the thing that scares you the most is the thing that you need most to face to move forward.
People always talk about vision, seeing your vision, seeing somebody else's vision, other people seeing your vision. Let me tell you something. Before you could see your vision, before anybody else could see your vision, the first thing they have to do is deal with what's visiting them in their nightmares. That you have to deal with before you or anybody else could see your vision.
He said the ideal situation for a man or woman to die is to have family members praying with them as they cross over. He said, but imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never went after that dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what dreams, what ideas, what talents, what books, what music, what leadership, what voice will die with you? Said the wealthiest place on the planet, it's not in the Far East where there's oil in the ground. It's not in South Africa where there are diamond mines. He said the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery. Because there you'll find greatness that we've never seen. There you'll find talent and genius and potential never actualized. Maybe that's why some unknown writer wrote the words, what if you live your whole life only to discover that it was wrong. That it was wrong. That you were chosen to do something else. And you didn't do it.
You want to know the secret to achieving everything that you dream about? Don't quit. See, when you know what the destination is, there's a million paths to get there. And it took me a long time to learn that the greatest moments of growth and success happen right after you feel like quitting, but you don't. That's the secret. Keep going.
If you're trying to do something exceptional, if you're trying to do something that's difficult, you don't get the luxury of kind of wanting to do it. If you kind of want to do it, you're going to lose because you're not just competing against people who kind of want it. You're not competing against people who want it bad, but you're competing against people who need to do it. You're competing against people who have their back against the wall, who have no other choice but to succeed. That's your competition. And so if you're sitting around here saying, oh, well, I want to do it, but like, I have this to do and that to do, it's over. You're not going to win. The guy that has his back to the wall is going to destroy you.
Losing strips away your ego. It forces you to face the parts of yourself that need work and the truths you've been unwilling to accept. But losing isn't the end of your story. It's where the real work begins. The chance to analyze the cracks in your foundation and build something stronger. Growth happens when you fall flat, feel exposed, and have to decide whether you'll rise again. The lesson is in the loss. The win is in the comeback. If you want to go big, you can't run from failure because it's a ticket to every breakthrough you've been chasing.
If you're seeing this, that means you're not dead. And if you're not dead, that means you woke up today. And if you woke up today, that means you were handed a goddamn gift. Because others weren't lucky enough to get that gift. And some took their last breath last night. So today, you're not wasting the day. You're making it count. Because you know you're not getting it back. So you're not taking it for granted. Today, you're doing something today that makes you happy. You've put it off long enough. Stop being scared what others think about you. You're not in high school anymore, so act like it and grow up. Their opinions, they don't matter. It's your life, not theirs. Today is your day, so make the day count. Do something today that makes you happy. Because you may not be lucky enough to get the gift of tomorrow.
We're taught to believe that control is the key to a good life. That if you can just plan everything perfectly, prepare for every outcome, and hold on tightly enough, you can avoid the chaos, the pain, the uncertainty. Control feels safe. It feels powerful. It feels like the only way to keep your world from falling apart. But here's the paradox. The tighter you hold on, the less control you actually have. The more you try to force life to fit into your expectations, the more it slips through your fingers. Because life isn't meant to be controlled, it's meant to be lived. And sometimes, the only way to truly gain control is to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean apathy or passivity. It means surrendering to the flow of life, trusting the process, and understanding that you don't have to micromanage every detail to create something beautiful.
Control feels comforting, doesn't it? Like if you can just hold onto the reins tightly enough, nothing bad will happen. But the truth is, control is an illusion. You can't control the weather, the economy, other people, or the random twists and turns of life. What you can control is how you respond, your attitude, your effort, your choices. That's where your power lies, not in trying to control everything around you, but in mastering what's within you. When you stop chasing the illusion of control, you free yourself from the anxiety of trying to predict the unpredictable. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start focusing on the things you can.
So much of our desire for control comes from fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of things going wrong. We play the what if game in our minds. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if it all falls apart? But here's the thing. Worrying about the what ifs doesn't change the outcome. It doesn't prepare you for the future. It just robs you of the present. Letting go means acknowledging that the future is uncertain, and that's okay. Because no matter what happens, you have the strength to face it. Trust yourself enough to know that you can handle whatever comes your way. Let go of the need to have all the answers and focus on what's in front of you right now.
Think of life like a river. You can fight the current, exhausting yourself as you try to swim upstream, or you can surrender to the flow. Surrender doesn't mean you're powerless. It means you're choosing to work with the current instead of against it. When you surrender, you open yourself up to possibilities you might not have seen before. You allow life to surprise you, to show you paths you never would have chosen on your own. And in that surrender, you find freedom. Some of the most incredible moments in life happen not because you forced them, but because you allowed them. You let go of your expectations, your plans, your need to control, and made space for something greater to unfold.
Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. It takes courage to release your grip, to step into the unknown, to trust that even if you don't have control, you still have power. Power to adapt, power to learn, power to rise, no matter what life throws at you. When you let go, you stop trying to control the uncontrollable and start focusing on what truly matters. You become more resilient, more flexible, more capable of navigating life's challenges. Identify what you can't control. Take a moment to think about the things you're trying to control right now. How many of them are actually within your power? Let go of the things that aren't. Release the weight of trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. Focus on your response. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you weather it. Shift your focus from what's happening around you to how you're showing up in the midst of it. Trust the process. Trust that life has a way of working out, even when it doesn't go according to your plan. Some of your greatest growth will come from the moments when you had to let go of what you thought should happen and embrace what actually did. Practice presence. Control often comes from living in the future, worrying about what might happen. Letting go means bringing your focus back to the present. What can you do right now? What beauty can you find in this moment? Find freedom in surrender. When you stop fighting against life, you find peace. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start using that energy to grow, to create, to live.
When you let go, you don't lose control. You gain clarity. You gain the ability to see life for what it is, not for what you want it to be. You gain the freedom to adapt, to grow, to move forward without being weighed down by the need to micromanage every detail. Letting go doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop clinging. You stop forcing. You stop living in fear of what might happen and start living in gratitude for what is. The paradox of control is this: the more you let go, the more power you gain. Not power over life, but power within yourself, to thrive no matter what life brings. So loosen your grip, surrender to the flow, and trust that even in the uncertainty, even in the chaos, you are exactly where you're meant to be. Let go and watch your life expand.
An ode to people who don't believe in themselves. What comes first, belief or action? Do you need to believe that you can do a thing before you can do it? Fake it until you make it is one option, but incredibly hard if you're introspective and have low self-belief and high standards. So what about make it until you believe it? Here are some lessons that I've learned. You can believe you're not worthy of a thing and still attain it. You can be adamant that your efforts are going to go badly and still succeed. You can grip and grasp and fear and ruin the enjoyment and be totally unwarranted and things still go well. You can have no self-belief and show up anyway. You can want more for yourself without knowing exactly what that looks like. You can doubt the process, question your talent, be uncertain that you're making progress, disparage your accomplishments, permanently feel like you're not working hard enough no matter how hard you work, never give yourself a break, fail to fully feel gratitude, be terrified of never reaching your goals, and still end up in a place that your 20-year-old self could not imagine you'd ever get to. Self-belief is overrated. Generate evidence.
Now you're starting to believe yourself. You're starting to believe that inner voice. You're starting to believe in your actions. You're starting to believe in who you are. You're starting to believe in your words. You're starting to believe in your dreams. You're starting to believe in your thoughts. You're starting to believe in your actions. So what happens after that? What's the next step? Doubt. Listen. Believing. Now you start to trust the one person that you should have always trusted, that other individuals told you not to trust, and that's you. Because you're finally listening to that voice. You're finally starting to have self-belief. You stop doubting yourself for the moment. And you start to grow. You trust yourself. You trust your actions. You trust your words. Now what happens after trust? You start to grow.
You've worked way too hard to let one season of darkness convince you that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. As consistent as I try to be at my job, my workouts, my own personal improvements, each and every week is still full of ups and downs. Some runs, even just a few miles, feel like pulling teeth. Other longer ones, I feel unstoppable, like I could go on forever. Some days it's so easy to get into a flow state, and I feel like I'm on track to achieving everything I've ever hoped for. And I'd be lying if I said these highs and lows didn't used to discourage the shit out of me, man. But recently, I've just been embracing the fact that nothing lasts forever, good or bad. No success or accomplishment is permanent, but it also means that no failure is permanent either, not unless you let it be. So if you feel like you've just been against a wall, like you can't break out of a bad cycle, like you've been trying everything but nothing's working, like you wish you could control everything that you can't control, that season of darkness, just keep on knocking, because you're getting exactly what you wanted. So dedicate yourself to all of it. The dreams, the work, the suffering, the hopelessness. When you signed up for all of it, you knew exactly what was expected of you, so you'd better meet the standard, or you can turn temporary into permanent. Convince yourself that this bump in the road is a life sentence, that it's just too hard. Let one season define your year and let 1 year define the rest of your life. Or maybe now the clay's just finally starting to get warm and something's about to happen, something's about to change. But that's entirely up to you to stick out to find out.
Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. The same wind blows on us all. The difference in where we arrive at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year is not the wind that blows. And the wind is blowing around the world.
And it's important because otherwise you can be afraid of pursuing the things that you want to pursue, right? And that's very common. And so then the fear inhibits you as the promise pulls you forward, but it makes you weak because you're afraid. You want to get your fear behind you, pushing you. And so what you want to be is more afraid of not pursuing your goals than you are of pursuing them. It's very, very helpful. And lots of times in life, and this is something really worth knowing, you don't get to pick the best thing. You get to pick your poison. You have two bad choices and you get to pick which one you're willing to suffer through. And every choice has a bit of that element in it. And so if you know that, it's really freeing, because otherwise you torture yourself by thinking, well, maybe there's a good solution to this, compared to the bad solution. It's like, no, sometimes there's just risky solution 1 and risky solution 2. And sometimes both of them are really bad, but you at least get to pick which one you're willing to suffer through. And that actually makes quite a bit of difference.
It's easy to be a victim, bro. It's easy to believe that the world just happens to you. It's easy to believe that the state of your existence is entirely the result of other people's decisions, or it's just luck. Falling short and then blaming everything else but yourself is the easy path. It's the path that hurts the least. But what you're not thinking about is the fact that there's no reward at the end of it. Your life is going to be shitty. Nothing is going to go the way you want. Then you're going to get to the end of your life, you're sitting on your deathbed, and once again, you're going to blame everyone else. You're going to look back at your life and say, at least it wasn't my fault. Is your dog life simply not being your fault worth having a dog life? The best path forward is the hard path. The path where everything is your fault. The path where no matter what happens in your life, you find what you did wrong so you can do it better the next time. The path where there's always something for you to learn. That is the path that hurts the most, but it's the path that's going to make you the best person, and it's the path that's going to lead to the best life.
The reason people are afraid of the word obsession and they like to stay in the interested area. Because when you're interested about something, when you're passionate about something, it's this beautiful daydream. It's this beautiful, euphoric rainbow. But you know what the obsession is? The obsession lives in your nightmare. Obsession lives in your nightmare. That's why people love to work with passionate people. Oh, they're so passionate, they're so easy to work with. Individuals that are obsessed, they're nightmares to work with. You know why? Because every detail matters.
Because you have probably dealt with everything that life has thrown at you so far. Do you think that it's because of the way that you grasped and controlled and feared and ruminated? Or could it be because you're a capable, competent, gifted person and the world is fundamentally fair, and over a long enough time horizon, most people get what they deserve? You're doing this for you. We judge people based on how much life they can tolerate, how much feeling they can deal with and carry and enjoy. And that's something that we should all try and have more of in ourselves, being that person that your younger self wanted as a role model.
It says facing fear isn't about being fearless. It's about being brave enough to move forward despite the feeling. That's what courage is. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's deciding to do it afraid, right? We look at these people, man, they're so courageous. They have the same emotion that you have. They're just deciding to act through it rather than allow the emotion to stop them from moving.
Go into the unknown because you already know what you know. And that's not enough unless you think you're enough. And if you're not enough and you don't think you're enough, then you have to go where you haven't been. You can't make yourself interested in something. Interest manifests itself and grips you. That's a whole different thing. And so what is it that's gripping you? And how do you conceptualize that? Is that a divine power? Well, it's divine as far as you're concerned because it grips you and you can't do anything about it. And so there's a calling in you towards what you're compelled by and what you're interested in. And sometimes that might be very dark and sometimes not. But you're compelled forward by your interest. And so the idea that what moves you away from your country, this house, and the comforts of your childhood home is something that's beyond you and that you listen to and hearken to. That's exactly right. If you do not listen to that thing that beckons you forward, you will pay for it like you cannot possibly imagine. You'll have everything that's terrible about life in your life and nothing about it that's good. And worse, you'll know that it was your fault and that you squandered what you could have had.
Fear and doubt, not to say. How many times have you felt pressure and how alive you felt underneath that pressure? When pressure was a privilege, when it excited you, that's fear. Fear is about the pressure. It's about embracing the pressure. It's about wanting the pressure. It's about not allowing the pressure to get to you, but to propel you. You thrive on it. You look for it. You can't live without it. And what does doubt do? In pressure situations, you panic. You panic. Fear is an ally. Doubt is an enemy that you created.
So one of my favorite quotes that I try to live by each day is, "A man who procrastinates his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance." Because the only thing we ever have on our side is the time we choose to take advantage of right now. The opportunities of possibility in front of us at this very moment that only require a down payment of today's effort, which honestly isn't even as big of a cost as it seems, considering how good you'll always feel knowing that you give a shit about yourself by actually trying today. So I'd rather do all the hard now. If it means I have to run further, lift harder, work longer hours, day in, day out, it's not easy, I get it. But that's the whole fucking point. Because it's a smaller price you have to be willing to pay today to avoid a life sentence of questions you'll never be able to answer because you kept intentionally putting things off even when you knew your future self would hate you for it. If you keep skipping out on your daily opportunities, which are honestly the greatest ones you'll ever have in your life, don't ever let yourself be just a default decision from never doing anything that made you feel worthwhile.
They'll say you're doing too much, that you need to slow down. But what they're really saying is your effort exposes their lack of it. They'll question why you're up before the sun, why you push when it hurts, and why you don't just take the easy way out like everyone else. And one day, when the results they didn't believe in start showing up, they'll ask how you did it and wish they started when you did. The world doesn't reward those who seek approval. It rewards those who stay in the game long enough to prove they never needed it.
Motivation is garbage. It's garbage because it's not there when you really need it. Because knowing what you need to do, it's not enough. It's just not enough. The clock is ticking. Waiting for motivation to strike is basically saying it's never going to happen.
So most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. We literally have to become someone else. In other words, thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates a state of being. So then the person says, I am insecure. And whenever you say, I am anything, you're commanding your mind and body towards a destiny. So then most people's biology is, for the most part, their past. And so if you're not being defined by the vision of the future, some new possibility in your life, you're only left with the old circuitry in your brain and the old emotions of the past. So the question then is, can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the experience has already occurred?
Every single day, you one step closer, and you don't know how many steps away you are from your goal, or from where you want to be. And you know, me personally, I don't want to tell you, don't give up, because it could be a mental switch. That's all you need to whether the next 6 months of your life is gonna be the best 6 months of your life thus far. Cause it's so easy to quit, bro. That's what everyone's doing, that we're not trying to go at everybody else. I always remember that.
Choose just one part of your personality to develop that would virtually guarantee your success. Persistence would be your choice. Napoleon Hill suggested that there may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but he said that quality is to the character of the human like what carbon is to steel. Persistence is going to keep you going in the face of almost every obstacle that you can imagine. It is based upon your focus being directed towards the positive polarity in life. You see, it's not difficult to find an individual who's persistently doing what they don't want to do and achieving results they don't want to achieve. A lack of persistence is not their problem. How they're using their persistence is. Ignorance and paradigms are the enemy that we must defeat. Everyone is persistent. Our objective must be to put persistence to work for us rather than against us.
You're not going to hit it out of the park on the first shot. But the crazy thing about how success works is that you only need to win once. That's the crazy part, is you only have to win once.
No matter where you're at in your journey, you've just got to believe with all your fucking heart that you're going to make it, because no one else is going to believe for you.
You need to believe and know that you're one decision, one relationship, one meeting, one book, one thought, one something away from a completely different life. And when you know that, then you begin to look for them.
If I were to leave this earth tomorrow, the one message I want to get across to everybody that sees this is that life is really short. And when you get the opportunity to take a chance and bet on yourself, fucking take it.
And what most people do is when the struggle or the tough season or the adversity comes, they do every and anything to try to get away from it. Anchor down and embrace it. Anchor down and embrace it. And I promise you, the storm will eventually pass. But don't prolong the storm by trying to resist the storm. Put your anchors down, put your feet down, right? Like a tree that has deep roots, and embrace the storm, and eventually it will pass and you will come out a stronger version of yourself.
The biggest misunderstanding about passion is that it isn't something you find or something that just comes to you. It's something you create. Too many of us go our entire lives wondering why we aren't lucky or fortunate enough to have a natural purpose or to naturally be passionate about something when it isn't even a natural thing to begin with. True passion isn't naturally occurring. It only occurs through the action of building it. And that's the irony of it all. True passion, purpose, is never one specific thing, but it's found through the effort that you give in of itself working towards that thing, or anything for that matter. So if you've always felt like you don't have a thing that others do that get them all excited to get out of bed in the morning, then just start working on all different areas of your life and let that love of giving effort fulfill you. Anyone can try, anyone can get it, anyone can invest in the idea of becoming. That's the purpose and passion that you've been searching so long for.
Why don't you think the highest of yourself? We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great.
If you genuinely believe in yourself, you are 75% already there towards your goals. Like you will accomplish them. If you believe yourself, put in the work, it's done.
Nobody can make you successful but you. If you don't believe in you, why should I? If you're not going to invest in you, why should I? You are with you every single day. You know you better than anybody else, but you want someone to invest in you that hasn't spent one moment with you? If you're not willing to do that? Of course you would. You believe in you.
Be the person that your mum thinks you are, or the person that your younger self wanted as a role model. Brave, courageous, earnest, honest, virtuous, like on fire. There's this quote from the ancient Greeks that says, "Live as though all your ancestors were living a game through you." I really love that. We judge people based on how much life they can tolerate, how much feeling they can deal with and carry and enjoy. That's something that we should all try and have more of in ourselves, being that person that your younger self wanted as a role model.
What would your life look like if you had the ability to adhere to every single plan, every single dream, every single goal that you have set forth for yourself from the time that you were 10 years old to however you are now? What would your life look like?
Doing the same things, hoping to be a better person, expecting the same things out of the externals, hoping that would be different. Only way that you can conquer yourself and to move past this is the renewing of one's mind.
In order for a man to gain his life, he must lose his life. So you've got to be willing to die to who you are now, to give birth to who you are to become.
Understand just how hard it is to work every single day to try to be great. Everybody is excited in the beginning. Like New Year, everybody started in January, jams packed. Every year, you get to February and March, habits matter. Habits matter. Principles matter. How you view what you're doing and trying to accomplish matters.
If you want to achieve success, you're gonna have to pay the price.
And it won't be cheap.
It'll be tireless nights, long days, isolation,
loneliness, tribulation, heartaches, headaches, and a lot of pain. But on the other side of pain is pleasure. On the other side of pain is success.
Those who have left their mark in this world believe that they were chosen for something great. And a lot of us think that it's just the special ones who get to live out their dreams. It's not those who are special. It's those who believe. It's not those who are magically chosen. It's those who choose to be chosen.
Epictetus's question was, how much longer are you going to wait to demand the best of yourself? We all know we have potential. We all know we have things we need to stop doing. We all know we have things that we should start doing, but we tell ourselves we'll do it later. But will you?
So tell yourself the truth about the situation that you're in. That's what we need to do. And it should hurt a little bit, by the way. It should hurt a little bit. There should be aspects of your life that you know you can improve upon. That should hurt a little bit. Here's the cool thing. Take ownership of those things and guess what? It doesn't hurt at all. Now guess who's in control? You are. But if you're having trouble finding discipline, start by telling yourself the truth about what's going on.
You can have what you want in 5 years. But there's two conditions. You have to know what it is, and you have to aim at it. Figure out what you want, write it down, figure out what you could do to start moving towards that. Develop a vision, and you have to do that in dialogue with yourself, right? It's like, if I could have what I wanted, what would satisfy me? And you might think, well, I could never get that. And I could say, well, maybe not, but I'll tell you one thing, man. You can move towards it. And I know almost all the pleasure is in the moving toward.
Let me tell you a secret. Know what does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started. The idea of a single eureka moment is a dangerous lie. It makes us feel inadequate because we feel like we haven't had ours yet. And it prevents people with seeds of good ideas from ever getting started in the first place. Be prepared to be misunderstood. Anyone working on a big vision is going to get called crazy, even if you end up right. In our society, we often don't take on big things because we're so afraid of making mistakes that we ignore all the things wrong today if we do nothing.
People should know that you never will be able to go through life without failures. Failures make us learn. Failures make you stronger. Pain makes you stronger. So I think all of that is good.
Write everything you want on a piece of paper. Everything. I don't care. Use your wildest imagination. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Write it on a piece of paper. Read it every morning and every night. Come back here 1 year from today and see how much of that stuff then came true.
It's easier to live a life you hate than it is to live a life you love. Doing what you love can be hard because we live in a world that encourages the opposite. But that doesn't mean it's right for you. No one can decide what struggle or success looks like in someone else's life. You get to choose that. And if you don't, then society will decide for you.
People will belittle your plan. People will tell you that you have the wrong vision. People will tell you that it will not work. But here's the thing. It's not their vision. It's your vision. It wasn't given to them, but there will be people who will try to tear it down, who will tell you you don't have what it takes, who will tell you that this is impossible, who will tell you that you need to be realistic. But nothing great has ever happened from being realistic in their own hearts. Small minds cannot see a big plane.
The higher you fly, the deeper you fall. Okay? So if you want to fly high, do it. But if you fly high without somebody telling you before you're starting the flight that there will also come the descent, then I think it's kind of blind. Just keep it in mind that there is something in our lifetime which is always balancing out.
This idea of being happy is this concept that people have been sold, right? That life is about happiness. But what if life wasn't about happiness? What if life is about experiencing every aspect and every emotion that life has? Wouldn't you want to experience the full set and range of emotions that life has to offer you, the sadness, the heartbreaks, the joy.
When you have butterflies and you're feeling anxious and you have anxiety or nervous, that's when you're most powerful, I believe. A lot of people, instead of homing this power and using it, they allow it to just consume them. A big challenge or big pressure is like a fire. It's like a raging fire. Either you can allow this fire to consume you and just take you over completely, or you can gain control of this fire and harness it.
If you can dream it, it can potentially become yours with the right energy input, the amount of work ethic necessary, and a good attitude. Understand that you have one life. How you live it is your choice, but life will pass you by. You don't want to be the person that wakes up 30, 40, 50 years from now and regrets what they did.
I never like to look back because it just, there's really not much in it for me, right? It's just, I always like to look forward. Do I want to look out the windshield or do I want to look through the rear? I rather look forward because I know where I'm going then, rather than always looking in the back.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generation. And the only way that bill gets paid off is you gotta be willing to make the hardest decisions.
The energy it requires to start doing something is way more than the energy required to continue doing the thing. And that the beginning of doing anything results in the lowest amount of reward, both internal and external, than when you've been doing it for ages.
The only reason why you're not living the life that you actually want to live is because you keep on feeding the life that you don't want to live. Day by day, keep on feeding the life that you don't want to live.
That's a lesson that people need to hear and learn. It's so important because everybody just wants to be comfortable. Everybody wants to sit in the car. I don't want to go outside, it's cold. I don't want to do this, it's hot. Like, you've got to do things that you don't want to do because you show your body that your mind is the boss. It's telling your body what to do, and then you have control. You got to do something, man. Right? If years and years pass, and you're just the same dude, that you're not really living in a way. I kind of feel like you're just being pushed through life.
I think people are where they deserve to be. And if you look at what they did over the last 10 years, their life is going to look exactly what it should look like. If you can't become aware of your own internal dialogue, and you can't start to have control over your own internal dialogue, and you can't start to tell the bitch voice that you have in your head to sit the down or shut up, you're going to have a very hard time making any year your year.
In failure and in suffering, all the answers are in there. All the answers to all the test questions. The test is your life. All the answers are in there. You have to live in suffering and pain and failure all the time. You have to learn, I need to visit it.
I'm not going to negotiate with my goal. Like, I've been negotiating sometimes with my goal. The time in my life where I'm most successful, there's no negotiation.
A friendly reminder that in 3 generations, everyone who knew us will be dead, including the people whose opinions stopped you from doing what you wanted all along. Imagine that someone you know achieves every dream and hits every goal they have. Years later, they get old and die. 2 years after that, how much do you care? About as much as everyone else will if you accomplish your goals and dreams. Do it for you.
Consistency, 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 man. That's the name of the game, bro. Don't get much simpler than that. If you keep going every single day and don't stop, they ain't ready for prime time. They ain't trying to really get right. Grind every day, one foot in front of the other, bro. I promise you, you're gonna be lapping these folks, bro. Give it a year. Watch what happens.
Dude, you're living. How do you want to live? How do you want to die? How do you want to be remembered? That's it.
Nobody can destroy you if you won't let them.
Whenever I get to a low point where I think, why do I even bother? I just remind myself, this is where most people stop, and this is why they don't win.
Gotta fight. It's hard. It's hard as... You're gonna have days where you don't want to do anything. You're gonna have days where getting out of bed is the hardest motherfucking thing you ever did in your life. You gotta get the fuck up and you gotta get in the fucking fight.
Get serious. That's number 1. I don't know any substitute for that. You've really got to get serious. You don't have to be grim.
but you must be serious. Go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about two very important things. Number one is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be?
You got to keep working. Your time's going to come, trust me.
Just keep working. You're not getting what you want, keep working. You are getting what you want, keep working.
You got to work. Your time is going to happen. You're here for a reason. But you got to be ready, because if you're not, it's on you.
The reinvention occurs in the micro actions that you're taking every single day, the tiny little things that perhaps no one even notices that are creating muscle memory around new behaviors that perhaps are very uncomfortable to you. Tiny little things repeated over time is what produces dramatic change.
I'll get to it tomorrow. I'm like, who promised you that? Right? I'll get to it a month from now. I'm like, who promised you that? Right? Because life changes so quick. We live our lives and we feel as if we're promised something, right? But when you think about it, it's like when we try to control things. But when you really think about the macro of life and the grand scheme of life, we really don't have any control. We can control what we possess: emotions, attitude, thought process, perspective, how we speak, how we respond. But just life in general, we have no control of that.
How bad do you want this? If it's as bad as you want to live, breathe, or sleep, I can work with you. Most people don't want it that badly. You know how to do it. You know exactly how to be you or how to be me. You don't want to do it. And you are willing to strip yourself down to nothing and give everything. That's who I want to work with. To get there, luck ain't gonna happen. You have to put yourself in that situation, man. It takes a lot of work.
Stay focused. Don't listen to nobody. What's on your mind, just do it. Because what's destined for you, you gonna get it.
What's the most useful thought you could leave to the world?
Driven human beings are going to always feel like they're behind.
Hard work looks horrible. It's not motivating. It's not motivating at all. It looks like a man being stuck in a dungeon and there's no way out. But you have the key. But you refuse to use it.
You can do anything. You can have whatever you want. Sometimes we just need a reminder to believe in ourselves.
When you're in the middle of a struggle, it never seems like you're going to get out of it. You feel it, and it's so difficult for people to trust the process or to trust that it will get better. It does get better. I am better. Everything's better. And I just didn't see the light. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I thought there's just nothing but this feeling that I couldn't endure.
There's a Sartre quote where he says, "I have led a toothless life. I have never bitten into anything. I was waiting. I was reserving myself for later on, and I have just noticed that my teeth have gone."
I think one of the major plights of humanity, myself included, is the expectation that life should be different than it is. Idea that whatever we have right now is not what it should be. And I think should is the root of all pain. And so I've tried to eradicate should from my life and just lean into is. It just is this way.
I wanted to feel something besides defeat.
You're the only one that can pull yourself out and save yourself. Truly, there might be people that can help you, you can lean on, but at the end of the day, there's one person that can truly make a decision and do things for you, and it's yourself.
If you don't change what you're doing and how you do it, nothing else will change.
One of my favorite quotes from Zig Ziglar is, "You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great."
Figure out what you want. Ignore the opinions of others. And do so much volume that it would be unreasonable that you would be unsuccessful.
But we're so busy listening to the voice and shouts of everybody else
of everything else that's going on that we can't hear the most important voice, the one we used to listen to all the time when we were a kid, our own voice. We forget to trust ourselves. We stop gambling on ourselves.
Winning, this is how it feels. 90% of the time, you're gonna feel like you're getting your balls kicked in, all right? 8% of the time, you're gonna be confused and you're frustrated. 2% of the time, you actually win. And those moments come and go, and then you're back in the 90%. And that's the reality of a winner's life. People don't understand that. They think it's all about cruising around in a cool car, having a free and happy and easy and go-lucky life. And that's not reality, because true winners are built for the fucking fight. They're built for the battle. They don't find peace and joy and happiness in the win. They find what they're looking for in the fight.
I'm alone and look at me. There's nobody around. Nobody likes me, man. It is what it is. Sometimes in life, people are not gonna be around you to motivate you. They're not gonna be around you to push you, to celebrate you, to applaud you. You gotta do it on your own. That's what I'm doing right now.
You're not better than anyone in this world, okay? But no one is better than you either. And I mean no one. Because what's to say you couldn't make the same choices as anyone else and achieve similar outcomes? Everyone sees a rich person and thinks they're a god, but I just see a person that made a set of decisions that got them somewhere. Some people make better ones than others, of course, but the ability to make the right choices is available to all of us. And I think you owe it to yourself to make the best ones.
And look, I get it. The weight of the world can be pretty heavy sometimes. But so long as we have this belief in that our potential is greater than any circumstance we find ourselves in, it doesn't really matter what we face along the way. And so it's just a matter of time. Just don't give up.
You don't look at the man you want to be in 20 years. You only have to fix one thing. Today. Just today. That's it. Do I have a problem with my dad today? No, I'm doing other stuff. I'm not worried about it. Am I a man that I can like and respect today? And when you go to bed at night, look back on the day and say, how'd I do today? And then go to bed and go to sleep. Wake up in the morning and say, all I got to do is be the best man I can be today.
At the end of the day, it's not the trophies or the titles you're going to answer to. It's you. Did you become someone you're proud to be? That's the real scoreboard. That's the one that matters. Because if you can't respect the person in the mirror, nothing else you build will ever feel like enough. Earn your own respect first. Everything else will fall into place.
I'm getting better every day for the rest of my life. That's it. There's only one way to go. What's the alternative, Joe? Right?
Yeah.
What is the alternative? I keep saying that to myself. What's the alternative? I'm not gonna stumble around through life. I wasn't brought back here just to suffer.
At some point, you're going to have to bet on yourself. No backup plan, no parachute, no safety net, just a decision, and the fire to follow through. The truth is, most people will never live the life they actually want, not because they weren't capable, but because they never had the guts to risk it. They stayed where it was safe, predictable, comfortable, familiar. They said things like, maybe later, once the timing's right, I'm not ready yet. And they said it until their life became a museum of missed chances. Because the dream didn't die. They did. Slowly, quietly, without ever making a sound. But you weren't built for that. You weren't wired to shrink. You feel it in your chest, don't you? that restless pulse, that voice that won't shut up, that knowing that if you don't jump, if you don't leap, you'll rot in regret. Because you can play it safe all your life. You can follow the script, get the job, smile for the camera, die quietly. Or you can burn the script, walk into the fire, and rewrite everything. You can chase the thing that terrifies you. Walk away from what's easy and walk straight into the unknown. Because here's the thing about risk. It's not the danger that's scary. It's the uncertainty. You don't know how it'll go. You don't know if you'll make it. You don't know if the parachute will open. But what if that's the whole point? What if greatness only lives on the other side of not knowing? What if the only way to become something more is to risk losing what you are now? Because every comfort you cling to is a chain, and every risk you take is a key. You don't build a legendary life by playing by the rules. You build it by breaking your limits, by doing the thing that terrifies you, by saying, I'd rather die chasing something real than live safe in something fake. You'll gain a version of yourself that never bows. You'll gain pride, dignity, depth, and the quiet power of someone who knows they bet on themselves and didn't flinch. You know what's worse than failure? Wondering what could have happened if you'd just tried. Laying on your deathbed asking, what if? Staring at a ceiling knowing you never had the courage to find out. That is the real risk. Dying full of potential, with none of it realized. You want to play this life safe? You want guarantees? Then settle. Blend in. Be average. But don't you dare pretend that's what you really wanted. Because deep down you know, that risk, that leap, that terrifying decision, that's exactly where your life begins. So take it. Jump. Start. There will never be a perfect time. You will never feel fully ready. You will never have all the information. Jump anyway. Speak anyway. Launch anyway. Love anyway. Live anyway. Let everyone else wait until the stars align. You're the one who moves before it makes sense. You're the one who bets it all. Not because it's safe, but because it's yours. This is not about recklessness. This is about refusing to live with a ceiling. This is about choosing meaning over mediocrity, freedom over fear, fire over comfort. The greatest risks you'll ever take will be the ones that look the most insane to others, but feel the most right to you. Don't betray that feeling. Risk it. For the vision, for the life, for the you haven't met yet. Because the only thing scarier than risk is staying the same.
What's the number one thing that's holding most people back from reaching their full potential?
The story. The story they sell themselves on. Everyone's got a story. And everyone wants to tell you their story of how bad they had it, how hard they had it. And the more times you tell yourself or others that story, the more you reinforce the fact that you're not meant to have happiness, success, abundance. They don't realize that they still hold the pen. There's thousands of empty pages still in that book that they can rewrite that story. But we have to let go of the pages that others have written in our book and realize we got this pen. And we can start writing how the story looks from this day forward. But what's stopping them is the work that they haven't done, the work of healing through their traumas, their insecurities, their limiting beliefs, the glass ceiling, the whatever the thing is.
The mentality of greatness. And no breaks. I hate to tell people that. Today's time, everybody wants it fast. You can be popular, but to be great, Monday on top of Tuesday, Tuesday on top of Wednesday, Wednesday on top of Thursday, Thursday on top of Friday, Friday on top of Saturday, Saturday, Sunday. Let's start over, let's start over, let's start over, let's start over.
When nothing seems clear, trust that the fog is part of the journey. man, the fog is part of the journey. So often when we're going down our paths and, you know, there's a lot of fog around us and we can't see, we get so discouraged. We think something is wrong. We feel like the fog is negative. Oh my gosh, I can't see. Oh my gosh, I'm lost, I'm confused, I don't know what's going on. Whoa. Understand the fog is a part of the journey. It's teaching you how to trust. And what is it making you trust? It's helping you to trust in the one step right in front of you. Because whenever you're in fog, you can't see down the road, but you can see the one step in front of you. And you just gotta keep trusting that if I keep taking that, even when I can't see, that eventually clarity will come. And you keep doing that, and eventually what happens? You gracefully move through that fog, and you step into that sunlight. You step into that clarity. And it's a beautiful thing. And all that came because you were able to understand that the fog is a part of the journey. Rather than seeing the fog and resorting back or staying stuck, because you had the right perspective of it, it allowed you to move through it and step into the light.
So my big thing is, when I live my life, I want to make sure that when I'm dead and gone, that I wring that wash rag out, and that wash rag is my soul. And I also believe that we're going to end up one day meeting a maker, if you believe in one. And I believe that maker knows everything about you. Everything about you. Knows I was going to be here and talking to you. Knows everything. But you also have a choice to make. You have a choice to make. We have choices. And the one thing that scares me to death in my life is getting to heaven and not being where I was supposed to be. And I believe that God has a chart, and he looks at the chart and he puts it in front of you, and you get to heaven. He says, hey, this is what you're supposed to be. And one of my biggest fears in life was to see that chart and not have every block checked off. You know, I want to make sure that I'm constantly pursuing whatever it is I'm pursuing, just to be the best. Just constantly grinding myself into a fine powder.
So don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is just failure turned inside out. It's the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near, but it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit.
Together, they said to me, well, how can you continue? Can you, do you have the strength or the will or the enthusiasm myself? And I said, how can you ask this question? It is, if I abandon this project, I would be a man without dreams. And I don't want to live like that. I live my life, or I end my life with this project.
It can't be done. This is why I try to tell you, anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it and if you believe in yourself. Let me tell you, you're going to find the naysayers in every turn that you make. Don't listen. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. Trust yourself. Get out there and work like hell and break some of the rules and never, ever be afraid of failure.
Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. I used to have that long list of reasons why I wasn't doing well. I used to blame the government. I used to blame taxes. Look what you got left after they take everything. And they expect you to do well. I used to blame the weather. I blamed the traffic. I used to blame my car. I blamed the manufacturers. See, I used to blame everything outside. And then let me give you a little philosophy to help turn my life around. For your notes, here it is. It's not what happens that determines the quality or the quantity of your life. It's not what happens. It's what you do that changes everything.
Face it. You do not look away when challenges come. You don't blame yourself if at that moment in time you are not able to face it. The only thing you're gonna do is you step back, you take time for yourself, you invest the work, and prepare yourself to return.
You just gotta weather it and keep on walking and don't flinch. Don't let them know they got you.
And what we doing at a standstill, or stepping back, because we don't do that. We keep on walking.
Anger. It's one of those emotions we're told to suppress, to control, to push down deep where no one can see it. Society teaches us that anger is destructive, unproductive, even shameful. But the truth is, anger is one of the most powerful forces you'll ever feel, if you know how to use it. Because anger, when left unchecked, can consume you. It can turn you bitter, vengeful, or paralyzed. But when you learn to channel it, to harness it, to turn it into fuel, it becomes something extraordinary. It becomes a tool, a driver, a force that pushes you toward action, toward change, toward the life you've been waiting to build. The question isn't whether you'll feel anger. You will. The question is, what will you do with it? Anger is neither good nor bad. It's energy. Raw, untamed energy that surges through you in response to pain, injustice, or frustration. It's your body's way of saying, this isn't right, this needs to change. But anger has two paths. One path is destruction. It's yelling at the wrong people, burning bridges, making impulsive decisions that you can't take back. The other path is creation. It's taking that energy and turning it into something meaningful, something that builds, that grows, that transforms. To use anger as fuel, you have to choose the second path. And that starts with understanding the source of your anger. Anger doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It comes from somewhere deep inside you. Pain, fear, frustration, disappointment. Before you can channel your anger, you need to face it. Ask yourself, why am I angry? What's the root of this feeling? What's underneath it? Sometimes it's about unmet expectations, about feeling like you've been wronged or overlooked. Sometimes it's about fear of failing, of losing, of not being enough. And sometimes it's about frustration with yourself for not living up to your own potential. Whatever the reason, identifying the source of your anger is the first step to transforming it. Because when you know where it's coming from, you can direct it. You can decide what to do with it.
Let anger be the spark, but let discipline be the engine. Because success isn't built on flashes of emotion. It's built on relentless effort, day after day, choice after choice. Anger is often seen as a destructive force, and it can be if you let it. But when you channel it toward creation, it becomes something entirely different. It becomes the fuel for building something meaningful. Whether that's a business, a skill, a relationship, or a new version of yourself. Ask yourself, how can I turn this anger into something positive? How can I use it to grow, to improve, to make an impact? Let your anger inspire you to build, to create, to leave something behind that proves you didn't let the pain win.
Every emotion has something to teach you, and anger is no different. It's a signal, a guide, a call to pay attention. What is your anger trying to tell you about your values, your boundaries, your goals? What lessons can you take from it? Maybe it's teaching you that you deserve better. Maybe it's showing you that something in your life needs to change. Maybe it's reminding you of the fire inside you, the one that refuses to settle, to give up, to accept less than you're capable of. Let anger be your teacher, not your enemy. Let it guide you, not control you. Think of anger like fire. Left uncontrolled, it can burn everything to the ground. But when harnessed, when contained, it becomes a powerful tool. It can light your way. It can warm you. It can forge something strong and unbreakable. The fire of anger doesn't have to consume you. It can transform you. It can push you to do the hard things, to face the challenges, to become the person you know you're capable of being.
The world will give you plenty of reasons to be angry. People will hurt you. Circumstances will disappoint you. Life will throw obstacles in your path. But every time you feel that fire rising, you have a choice. You can let it consume you, or you can let it fuel you. Use your anger to remind yourself of what you want, of what you deserve, of what you're willing to fight for. Let it push you to take the steps, to do the work, to rise above. Anger doesn't have to be destructive. It can be transformative. It can be the fuel that turns your pain into purpose, your frustration into focus, your fire into a force for something extraordinary. So the next time you feel anger bubbling up, don't run from it. Don't let it control you. Harness it, channel it, and use it to build the life you know you're meant to live. Because that fire inside you, it's not something to fear. It's your power. Use it.